I'm going to. Okay. Okay. So, um, first, first, thank you for joining me today. I see. Here's the thing. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so it never occurs to me to say what time zone. So I always tell Davon when he sends out the invite, make sure you say I'm in Eastern Standard Time and ask them what time they're in. So I don't know if that happened or not, but it's okay because now I've gotten used to it. So I'll say, okay, if they're not on like within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a different time zone, but I'm bad with math. So I don't know how to either add or subtract where the time zone would be. So that's why I always have to ask.
I got a lot of friends and business associates on the East Coast, so their 8 o'clock's my 7 o'clock. So it's
Okay.
7 a.m. My phone's blowing up. Everybody's trying to, they're just starting their day, getting going, and
Right.
today was yeah. Anyway, so I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad that you got to explore a couple of the products that I have.
Yes. Yes.
How many interviews have you done?
Oh my gosh. Lord, it's probably in the hundreds. Probably,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Because I'm also an author as well. So
Okay.
between the cigar industry and authorhood, I have so many different avenues to pull from. So let me just say that your is such an amazing product that listen, I feel like I need a low jack for the bag that I had because everybody was trying to take it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not giving you my coffee. And when I tell you I got down to the last little bit, I was like, I'm not drinking this yet. And I'm definitely not drinking it around anybody because then that means I'm gonna have to share it.
I've been so humbled by all the great responses on the coffee. I actually, so in creating this, I wanted to be able to have something for cigar shops
Mm-hmm.
to be able to serve their customers that has a bourbon taste without having the bourbon in it. And then what came out is, yeah, some bourbon, but the floral notes that came out of it, it's the barrels that we use that give it that floral bourbon taste. It's real light, it's mild. So I was at an art show on Saturday night, and somebody I didn't know came up and he says, "Hey, that your coffee's coming out next week, right?" And I'm like, yeah. And I have no idea who this guy is. He goes, "Everybody's talking about it, man." And I'm like, what is going on right here? It's like, so I live in a small town. So, we moved a couple 100 pounds in the last month of coffee beans and, between ground and everything. And my cigar shop customers picked some up and then they bought more and more and they bought me out. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've been pretty much out. I've got stores trying to get it. I've got, and I'm like, oh, this got out of hand quickly, so
Mm-hmm.
it's fun and it's very humbling when people just come up and they say, just such nice things about the coffee. So
Right.
that's really cool. There's more people drinking coffee than there is smoking cigars, so it was neat to bring this product along with me.
So when you decided to do the coffee, was this just because you knew that a lot of cigar smokers drink the coffee, or is it because it just felt like a natural progression for you?
So, I've been on my own money wise, working for myself since 2011. And I if I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So, but what I do is when things make sense, I go for it. And what I did was I met a guy at a gun range where
Mm-hmm.
we're shooting, and I just gave some guys some cigars. I knew they were from out of this country. We were just hanging out. We're shooting guns. We're smoking cigars. Just doing some American stuff with these guys from Brazil. And what I didn't know was they own the farm in Brazil where this coffee's grown.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had one of my store's anniversary party in December of 22. I don't know what year we're in. So in 22, And they came to the anniversary party. They based their trip in this country around the anniversary party to make sure they could make.
Wow.
They brought me lots of gifts, and we sat down and we talked about different things. And they were already making coffee, and they make a really good dark roast, a really good medium roast, and they have beans from all over. But I liked their beans. I like their Brazilian beans. It's
Mm-hmm.
such a cool small operation. So like what you drank, that was, it goes from the farm to my roaster. Well, and then at the roaster is where I have the whiskey barrels, and the whiskey barrels are set up on this thing where we rotate the whiskey barrels, so the beans are always rotating every day.
Ooh.
So, and they go in green, and then so they roast in there, or they age in there for 3 weeks just to
Mm-hmm.
absorb what the whiskey barrel. Now there's multiple whiskey barrels, so that way, hopefully, I don't run out again. But
Mm-hmm.
so we but talking with them, I wanted to have something unique. And I like when we host firefighter meetings or police meetings here at the cigar shop, then, I always put a little whiskey in all the coffees.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'd like to have that without the whiskey. And
Mm-hmm.
so we started talking. I have a great relationship with a company called Secondhand Barrels. They buy
Mm-hmm.
whiskey barrels from all the big distillers, and then they turn it into furniture and all kinds of cool stuff.
Ooh.
And so they had the barrels. So my barrels are actually from France. They're white
Mm-hmm.
oak. They're 59 gallon. So and they started as wine barrels. Then they went to, we'll just say, Jim's place, because I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
get in trouble. So they go to Jim's place, and Jim finished his bourbon in the whiskey barrels. So so that's why you get the floral notes. It's actually from the wine in France. So these barrels have been in France, and then
Wow.
they've been in Kentucky. Now they're in St. Louis area. And that's what gives it that unique taste, because it was wine, it was whiskey, and then now coffee
Mm-hmm.
absorbing all of that.
Wow.
So yeah, so we built apparatus. I sourced barrels. We did a little test run of 100 pounds. In one day, it sold out. Uh
Mm-hmm.
oh. And so, and so we did another 100 pounds, and that's like what I have left now is like 5 12-ounce bags of beans. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So we doubled it up to do the 200 pounds. And what I wanted was something, it's twofold. I wanted something unique. And then I wanted something, when I go to a cigar shop with Table 36 cigars, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be able to bring something else. And
Mm-hmm.
my original thought was to bring a spirit, a whiskey, a tequila, something. Well, with distribution of alcohol in this country, you have to be set up in that state. So I
Right.
didn't want, yeah. So like that got into a lot of weird stuff, and I was just trying to rep a brand, like try to help another brand, like a small tequila company,
Mm-hmm.
grow in different markets. Well, me alone can't do that. You have to have distribution. So that's where coffee kind of came in. It's like now I can bring unique coffee. I can bring um, unique cigars, and I can bring kind of a whole party. So we can do coffee cocktails, we can do
Mm-hmm.
coffee straight up. So all these things can go with the cigars, and when I go to do an event, I'm bringing more to the end consumer. I wanted to provide more of an experience for the customer.
Mm-hmm.
You got me talking, and then my
It
cigar went
is,
out.
it is, that's such an amazing concept and story. And when I tell you, um, the first time I took the bag to my girlfriend's house, she was like, "Oh, you're gonna leave that here?" I'm like, "No, ma'am." And it was like I had to pack that first before I left. And then
That's fun.
I have other friends. One, he's a like huge coffee drinker, loves all kinds of coffees. And then my other girlfriend, she's a bourbon drinker. And I was like, okay, I got to get them together. And when I tell you, we made that pot 12 cup pot of coffee, and I'm like a 2 cup of coffee a day person. Like I'll drink some in the morning and maybe a little bit in the afternoon. We
Right.
sat around that table and we all had 4 cups of coffee.
Wow.
Literally said, do we want to make another pot? And I had to say, no, because this is my coffee. And so I'm taking the rest with me.
So, in all your interviews with cigar people, did you ever think you'd be talking about coffee?
No, that's the thing. Because, honestly, most cigar people, we talk about the bourbons that they like or the scotch that they like or whatever. Not, I have not had anyone talk about the coffee that they enjoy, but I am a first thing in the morning, have a cup of coffee and a cigar. That is how I get my day going. So to have your coffee and let me tell you, I'm holding on to that the last little bit that I have until I get my other bag because
Right.
I'm not gonna drink it up and not be able to make some more.
Right.
So the thing is, when you do your coffee, how did you think that you were going to be in the coffee and cigar business?
So, going back to what I said, it just made sense because I didn't, starting the cigar brand or buying the
Mm-hmm.
cigar brand. And it's been fun, and I've had great reviews. Everybody's enjoyed the cigars. They're picking up in more and more great lounges.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sell the cigars online because I like to support the brick and mortars. Um, so I rarely do direct to consumer sales unless it goes through a store. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that way the stores benefit from carrying my cigars, and that's you got to take care of the stores, but more importantly, you got to take care of the end consumer. So I when we met with these coffee guys, and I can get beans direct from the farm. There's no chemicals on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's done with these guys have been farming coffee since 1934. They're on fourth
Wow.
generation, so they have such a high quality product. And then they're right there. We're hanging out, and so it's like, can we do this? And they're like, yeah, we can try it. So we did some test runs before we started bagging, and
Mm-hmm.
so we tweaked things and got it going um, where we really liked it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm using such a wonderful, humble group of guys, with the roasting that we all fit together. We all work hard. We have so many things in common, and
Mm-hmm.
we just clicked. And then so I talked to him. I said, "Hey, I'm going to need more and more and more. This is moving kind of fast." And he goes,
Right.
"Okay, that's what we do, And
Mm-hmm.
so it's so it just kind of clicked, and when something clicks with me and my gut says go for it, then I just do it. I go all in. So we will eventually bring out a just a regular plain medium roast, and we'll bring out pardon me, a regular dark roast,
Mm-hmm.
and so we'll do that in time, but that's already there. That's already established. That's what they make. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to bring something to market that paired really well with cigars. And that's I think we after all the testing we did, you know, I think we got a good pairing.
So tell me a little bit about the name Table 36. Like, where did that come from?
So I really like 3 6 Mafia. No, I'm kidding. Um, no, it's the so I bought the company 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Table 36 was founded by 8 people, and those people would always sit at literally number table 36 at this fancy steakhouse. And these 8 people back in 2011 decided to start their own cigar brand.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward to 3 years ago, they were all kind of ready to retire. And I was, after some hustling, I was able to purchase everybody out. And
Mm-hmm.
then I realized what a hard business this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it is such a money suck, you know. It is such a time suck.
Mm-hmm.
But if I didn't love the industry, I definitely wouldn't be in it.
So are you? Because I see you traveling everywhere. Are you like a single person operation right now, or do you have people that are working with you?
So Placencia actually rolls our cigars.
Okay.
So we use Placencia tobacco. All the cigars are rolled in Honduras at their factory. I handle sales, shipping, orders. I do everything pretty much solo.
Hmm.
I have great people that run both of my stores, so that frees me up to do the cigar and coffee business.
Okay.
Um, we I do travel, but all my travel has something to do with helping someone, and then
Hmm.
the cigars are really secondary business. So
Okay.
I was in New Jersey last month. That whole trip was to help a friend of mine grab his stuff from his old house and bring it back to St. Louis.
Hmm.
And well, I just throw a bunch of cigars and coffee in the car, and we went out. And,
Hmm.
we hit up a couple cigar shops, which we are going to do anyway.
Hmm. Right.
Um, so I just take my cigars in. I go into a cigar shop. I buy cigars. I decompress from the road, and then every single lounge that I'm in across the country, well, the 48 states, um, I have been in that lounge. I've clicked with owners, and when they ask what I'm doing in town, I go, I'm like, well, I'm doing X, Y, Z. I
Hmm.
also have my own cigars, and then I
Hmm.
show them a box of cigars, and they're like, well, look at these things. What's going on? And then we smoke my cigars. So it's never my intent. I don't really do sales calls. I'm
Okay.
just out somewhere, and then I'm having a cigar that I've spent money on there,
Hmm.
and I get the vibe from the lounge. If I don't like the lounge, I don't talk about what I'm doing. And then
Okay.
yeah, so I don't want to be in every single possible location that sells cigars. I
Hmm.
want to be in lounges that I would love to. I'm rocking a Somers Point hoodie right now. That lounge was
Okay.
cool.
Hmm.
I mean, I had a great time in that lounge when I was out there. They don't even carry my cigars yet. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
yeah, it's just I mean, it's not always about the dollar.
Hmm.
I've watched a ton of people in the cigar industry say the exact same thing. It can't be just about the dollar.
Right.
Otherwise we look like everybody else. And so, like, when you go in and if you see table 36, I think there's only one store in the country I haven't been to yet,
Hmm.
uh, and that store. Um, there were so many people that had my cigars. The store reached out and to, uh, sorry, um, so there's so many people in that area that reached out and they wanted to
Hmm.
have those cigars there. So I talked to the owner of the cigar shop and we talked about what he's doing. He was kind of new. I sent him a few to smoke. He loved them. So I haven't been to Vermont yet, but
Hmm.
that's really really far from here. So you like the coffee? Tell me about your cigar experience with the cigars.
Okay.
And be honest.
So the review with your of your cigar is going to be coming out next week. And
Okay.
it was very different from me, but it was such an amazing and relaxing experience. And here's why. Because I have a record player. My daughter bought me a record player for Christmas last year. Not 2023, 2022, 2021. And
Right.
I didn't have any records. And I said, the day that I tried your coffee, I said, no, now I need to try the cigar because I hadn't had the cigar yet. So I went, I put my record on, I put an old school, I put who did I put on? Stephanie Mills. I put her on the record player and I lit up your cigar. And it literally took me into such a relaxed state of mind that the record has stopped playing. It was over. And I'm just sitting back smoking a cigar. And then at one point, I was like, what happened was I finished the cigar and then I was like, the record's not playing. Like I was just so zoned out and into the cigar that it was such an amazing experience. I, for me personally, and every time I tell people, how I pick up the notes of a cigar, I always say it's based off of my taste because I don't have a sense of smell. So I can only off of the taste that I have. So I was picking up hints of like a dark chocolate that's and it wasn't real spicy, but it was enough of a spice that I could say, oh, okay, that was nice. Everybody likes a little spice in their life. Um, and it was just so. It was. I don't even have words. It's like I
Right.
can't. It has. I always tell people this. I keep a running list of top 20. You're
Right.
top five. It takes a lot to get to the top five.
Dang.
You're in the top five.
You're making me blush over here. So I was when I was in New Jersey, we were in um Senior Juan's. It's like a 25-year-old cigar shop and lounge.
Mm-hmm.
It's in this super cool, like Sopranos looking neighborhood of northern New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy there that was from New York. And if you were to if you were to put together a guy from New York, accent, words, mannerisms, everything, you would draw this guy, right?
Okay.
And so I gave him a cigar to smoke. We're sitting in there. I met with the owners, but I was talking to the guy that works there every day. And so he's smoking it, and he goes, "I don't really like shaggy foots." And I said, "That's okay, just light it up." And so he's smoking it, and we're just talking about whatever you talk about in cigar shops.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually he was quizzing me. He was trying to test my my cigar knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So out of this brand, do you like this cigar or this cigar? And it's like, so I was going toe to toe, and
Mm-hmm.
we seem to have very similar palates. And the whole time he's smoking one of the peacemakers. And so he goes, and he looks down at the cigar, and he goes, "What the hell's going on?" And he goes, "Man, this thing, it started out airy, kind of one noted. And then next thing you know, this guy is pacing around, looking at the cigars, chiefing just, I mean, fast. I've never seen a guy smoke so fast."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Stu is just going crazy, and he's got his New York accent. He's like, he's this guy takes it down to the nub. He's just talking about how the flavor increased, the spice increased. He goes, "Man," he goes, "I'm getting that pepper." He was just getting all excited about the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and the whole time I'm just like kind of taken back because I was expecting this negative review from a guy who smokes up to 14 cigars a day.
Wow.
Up to 14 cigars this guy smokes. I'm like, how do you have a palate smoking 14 a day?
Exactly.
So he just went berserk on this thing. I said, "Buddy, I got to record you because in the Midwest, nobody sounds like you." So, I wanted that accent. I wanted that raw, unfiltered review from him,
Mm-hmm.
and so he gave it to me. And so I recorded it. He was so fantastic. He goes, "I love the cigar." He told me the same thing. He goes, "This is top five stick for me." He goes,
Mm-hmm.
"What's funny was I expected to not like it. You know how many people go into a cigar shop trying to get their product in? And he goes, I don't like most of them. He goes,
Mm-hmm.
this thing just built and built and built where it's blowing my mind. He's
Yes.
running. And he goes, "You got to have whiskey with this." And I was like, "Yeah, a bourbon's good with it because so my binder on the cigar is a Brazilian Maltofina binder. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what gives it a little bit of tongue tingle, much like
Okay.
when you sip that first sip of bourbon and it tingles your
Mm-hmm.
tongue." And I go, "Well, my last name is Weller, so you should always be drinking some Weller with the cigar."
Listen, I was at an event. I was at Cigars International this weekend, and I was telling everyone about it. Like literally everyone, anybody that because we were all there, just smoking. It was just a meet and greet of a lot of the Instagram people, and I
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
on everybody about it. I was like, but at the same time, you got to try this coffee too. So it's like I am. Listen, I'm gonna be talking about this cigar and this coffee. So I'm gonna be posting, tagging. It's gonna be all over the place. So you're gonna keep hearing a ding ding because that's again.
So was the local hero, the Cigar Lounge
Yeah.
podcast, was he there? Yeah, he's had some too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a cool interview too. What's funny is I was watching that interview the other day on so that was probably last summer when I did that interview with him, and I was looking. I had the phone set up, was looking down. I was sitting in a chair at one of my stores, and I was like, how, like, I was so big then, and
Mhm.
I'm like taking pictures. I'm like sending them to my girlfriend. I'm like, why didn't you tell me I was that big? You know, I'm
Oh,
like, what's going on? So yeah, I need to do it like a recap,
there
another
you
video.
go. There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
Side by side. So,
right, right. I was like, man, I was like, I wish somebody would have told me. No,
so
he. So I've
what
had.
do you, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what do you see as your next step for Table 36? What is the next thing that you are going to, dive into?
So when I bought this company, they had three different cigar lines, four sizes per.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so since I'm a broke guy, and I tell everybody I'm a broke guy because I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't, when I say I do everything on my own, it's money included. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
money guy, there's no investor, there's nobody that is, I don't have some angel throwing me money.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I've done so far has been just put back in. I haven't made anything out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but what's next for us is to expand the Peacemaker stores where it's at, and to come out with our to bring back it's called the Integrity, and it is a Nicaraguan Puro from Placencia as well. And it was actually what's funny is it was my favorite cigar out of the three when I was just selling them out of a store.
Mm-hmm.
And but the Peacemaker, everybody else seemed to like it more than the Integrity um, cigar line. So my goal is to get the Integrity back out.
Mm-hmm.
It takes so much money to do any of this, but we
Right.
have it. So like we're currently redesigning boxes. The cost of everything has just gone through the roof. I've taken
Mm-hmm.
in 2 years, in 3 years, I've had two price increases that I have not even passed along. So I'm actually making even less and less money,
Mm-hmm.
but it's it's just not, for me. It's not time to pass pricing along. So my pricing is still from year one.
Mm-hmm.
The next step would be to get the Integrity out. When coffee is being sold and out to a lot of places, we'll bring the dark roast. We'll bring a regular dark roast, a regular medium roast, and it is just as smooth, but without the bourbon taste.
Okay.
Um, so there's things on the horizon for the coffee. There's things on the horizon for the cigars. And when I first bought it, I said, year one, I'm going to do the Peacemakers. Year two, I'm going to bring out Integrity. Year three, I'm going to bring out the Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all these were named before. That's how I bought them.
Okay.
That's how, yeah, that's how Placencia is still rolling our cigars, because I bought that contract back then. That they
Okay.
started. So in 2011, not everybody knew who Placencia was. They're just rolling everybody else's cigars. So
Right.
now Placencia is super expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are.
So it's like when you buy my cigar, you're getting a cheaper Placencia, but just my blend. So
Mm-hmm.
what's cool about the loose foot of the cigar is you get to taste on the Peacemaker line. You get to taste the filler before you get to the
Yes.
wrapper and binder.
Yes.
So
And I love that. I love that. And I had never had a shaggy foot before. So to experience, here's the thing, to experience something first with your cigar that is now the mark of what, if I have another shaggy foot, it has to be better than what you have.
I don't think, and then hopefully somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. There's only a couple cigars that have been released that even had a shaggy foot,
Mm-hmm.
but normally it's not an inch long shaggy foot.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I know, I'm the only cigar out with an inch long shaggy foot in production.
Mm-hmm.
Your cigar rollers can leave they can leave a 5 inch long shaggy
Right.
foot. But typically for production, I think as far as I've seen so far, I'm the largest shaggy foot out there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. It looks fantastic in humidors. The boxes are super cool. They're kind of rustic
Yes,
like
they are. Yes, they are. It's sitting, I have it sitting on my desk right now. And I'm like, oh my God, I got the box. I'm like, oh my God, this is such a great box. Like,
yeah.
I'm such a sucker for a great box and a great cigar. So, so you have like the trifecta. You have the great box, the great cigar, and great coffee. So, I mean, I can't go wrong with it. I just can't go wrong.
And that's and what's been great is like all of the attention and the sales that have come from for Table 36 has
Mm-hmm.
been by influencers like you know, like Cigar Lounging Podcast, like folks that are trying the cigars. Now these cigars have been out since 2013, but the company just didn't retire. They fizzled out way before I bought them. So I'm currently bringing like just breathing life, doing CPR on this brand, bringing it back.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was hoping, partly with the coffee was to get more attention to the brand. So, coffee is kind of my introduction, my handshake. And then they're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, the coffee was really good. Let's try the cigars,
Yes.
and so that way I can, and then when I go to an event, I want to bring coffee, I want to bring cigars. I want to bring the whole table to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
And
yeah,
I feel that you have because your coffee is the appetizer and the cigar is the meal. So it is like such an amazing type of thing. And I gotta say that when you pair those two with a great meal, it is just so amazing. So I have a friend who he is my I'm gonna say my cigar chef because any cigar that I have, I always will share with him so that he can come up with a meal around the cigar. So I cannot wait till he tries your cigar and comes up with the meal for that cigar. So I am just look, and I told him the other day. I saw him on Friday. I was like, "You come up with the meal yet? Because I'm trying to hold on to this cigar. If you don't come up with the meal, I'm gonna go ahead and smoke it. So I don't." So
one one of my
get more posts because it would be a whole meal experience with Table 36 cigars.
well, how many people are eating at this meal?
It'll be one, two, three, four, five. It'll be five people.
Or if you're low on cigars, you let me know beforehand.
Certainly will. I certainly will. So, first of all, I want to thank you for sitting down talking to me today because it has been such an amazing experience and an amazing cigar journey for me with these Tables 36 cigars. I can't wait because I'm tracking my coffee. It's supposed to be here today, so I can't wait.
So you got a bag of whole beans, so which is really cool because then it's even fresher when you grind it.
Yes, and that's I can't wait. And then the two people that drank the coffee before, they was like, "Oh, so when you get the whole beans, are we going to do this again?" I'm like, "You've already tasted it." It's like, "Yeah, but we didn't have the whole beans, so I will let them taste the whole bean." So just
So
in Austin, I will let you taste the whole bean coffee once it gets here.
so on Wednesday, nobody knows this yet, so this is a premiere on your channel. On Wednesday, I'm meeting with a guy to do some cold brew with the coffee. I gave him a test patch. He owns 4 coffee houses that are just killing it around my
mm-hmm,
area. And we're gonna do 30 growlers, so like an old whiskey growler with the
mm-hmm.
whiskey called cold brew.
Ooh.
And so we're going to do that. And if it goes over well locally, we're going to work on canning that, and then setting up our distribution with canning it.
Can't wait for that.
So yeah, we're yeah. So I want to be able to open my fridge and see my name, and then crack
Right.
open cold brew. He said that the way that thing cold brewed was just absolutely phenomenal. He goes, it
Wow.
was so flavorful.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him a bag to try. Now he owns coffee houses. I'm making
Mm-hmm.
coffee, and and it wasn't about like really trying to do anything with him, but he goes, I've been trying to do this. Can I try your coffee? And then so I
Okay.
go in the coffee house, and there's just a regular barista. I ordered my coffee, and he comes up and he goes, "Hey, your coffee's really good." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, hey, thanks, man." So it was really, really nice to hear from somebody
Right.
in the business. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. I'm taking 10 pounds to him just to kind of start with these growlers. So,
Okay.
maybe by the end of the year, we have a canned cold brew that's
Oh,
up for sale. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I
yeah.
go with
Oh,
it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So if you come out with that cold brew, just shoot me a cute little email. Be like, cold brew is ready.
I'm pretty excited. We've been, both of us are super busy. We have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday at 11,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're gonna go over everything just to kind of that way we're on the same page. We're gonna knock out a little test run, see how it sells, and then from there, if it picks up more and more, then I gotta get more whiskey barrels, and we gotta get more
Mm-hmm.
aging. Beans aren't a problem. There's tons of beans in this country now.
Right, right.
So, I mean, I think I posted some photos on Instagram. The beans are 3-4 times my height,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's been a fun journey so far, just because so many people have liked it, and
Right.
it, if it draws a little more attention to the cigars, then all the better. But it's really humbling to bring a product to market that people have really just responded well to, and I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that you have such a great product as well. So I'm going to let you begin your Monday. I have more interviews set up for today. Your excuse me, and I have the nerve to be trying to lose a voice. So
Well, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Sorry that I got mixed up before.
quite all
Um,
right.
yeah, no, I got it's Monday, so I always try to
Yes,
knock everything out on Mondays. So,
exactly,
all right.
exactly.
And then let me know again on the dinner, and then I'll make sure I send cigars to you, so that way everybody there's got something to smoke.
Certainly will. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your amazing Monday. And I'll be in touch with you on Instagram and via I'll have my interns email you via email, send you an email. And thank you for sitting down with me this morning. I hope you have a great Monday.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.